Hello everyone and welcome back to Bad Brews, the best place on the internet for losing brain cells. Today, this brew is going to be Kitchen Raiders, aka Madolche Generator. The main idea behind this deck is that you can go through your Madolche line in order to add a Butler-Rusk from your deck to your hand, and then you can normal summon your Butler-Rusk in order to add your Generator boss stage, which during your opponent's turn will then summon out your Ha. And that's kind of the main synergy, but for that we'll get into the card by card. For the Madolches, we have two Messenger Gelato. We're playing two of this because I don't want to draw into one and then have nothing to summon out from the deck. Two Butler-Rusk, your main bread and butter of the deck. You know, it can summon out it can add your boss stage from deck to hand, and it's just way good. We have Patetica, your main starter on the deck. It is the best starter on the deck by a large margin. Mageline can search out the Patetica, and same with Angeli. We have Hootcake, a mandatory garnet. Well, it isn't mandatory, but it's just good to have. It's just free body. The idea is you can go from Patetica into Angeli into Hootcake into Messenger Gelato, which you'll see in the opening test hand a bit later. We have one Ticket, one Salon, and one Promenade. We play Ticket in order to help search out Butler-Rusk in hands that we only have Patetica. We use Salon in hands that we have both a way to search out Butler-Rusk and the spell card in order to, but it takes up a normal summon so that we can just search out the Salon and then get the Butler-Rusk into rotation. And Promenade is just a good card to search out if you already have everything, or just if you go for your Salon line. Next up, we have the Generators. 1 Ha, 2 Valor, 1 Ugata, and 3 Boss Stage. Ha's a Omni Negate that can also rip a card out of your opponent's hand whenever they search anything. Valor can discard a Generator monster from your hand in order to special summon itself, and when it's special summoned, it can special summon a Generator from your hand or graveyard. And Ugata is a tribute to Generator tokens and or rock monsters in order to banish a card your opponent controls. For the games I was playing 2 Ha instead of 2 Valor, I switched it over because the 2 Valor is just so much better in every kind of situation, because you can use it in order to like summon back the Ha, which just makes the second Ha just completely and utterly useless. And hey, it's another card I switched over to, Book of Eclipse. Originally I was playing 2 Nibiru, but I don't really like the 2 Nibiru because it's eventually going to go to your graveyard, unlike the Cyframe Gear Driver and the Gamma. So 2 Book of Eclipse just for generic board breaking, and since we're playing Madolche, we can't really play a lot of generic board breakers and or hand traps because Patetica needs no monsters in your graveyard in order to special summon itself. So we have to play things like Cyframe Gear Gamma and the free Empalm as our only 2 real hand trap options. Other than that, we got 3 Prosby, 1 Coldlight, and 3 Evenly. For the extra deck, we have 2 Zeus. This deck can pump out 4 Mad Zeuses like it is absolutely nothing. From either like just ranking up onto a chocolate mode, I don't know how to fucking pronounce that. Either by putting one of these lines on one of your rank 4s, or just going from Jormungandr or by going from Leviathan into Jormungandr into Zeus, you can make like 4 material Zeuses like it's absolutely nothing. Anyway, we have 2 Chakala mode. This is essentially just Zeus Mat. It can also just shuffle a Madolche in your graveyard back in. It can be really good, especially if you're just trying to recycle your entire graveyard. Queen Tiramisu is an amazing board breaker to attach a material and target up to 2 Madolche cards in your graveyard, shuffle them back into the deck, then shuffle cards your opponent controls into the deck up to them returned Madolche monsters. Gas Souffle is a quick effect to attach a material from the card, target a Madolche on the field, and for the rest of the turn it is unaffected by monster effects, except its own. And if a Madolche card is sent to the graveyard, including the one you detached for its first effect, you can shuffle up to 2 cards from either player's graveyard back into the deck. It's oddly specific, but it's really good. Fresh Sistart, it's kind of just the other card we end on. Since you have mismatching levels at the end of it, you can't really end on 2 rank 2s, so we just kind of end on this. And its effective as well, it points to a Madolche monster. Madolche spell traps you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, neither player can target them with card effects, and if it will be destroyed by battle on the field, you can shuffle a Madolche monster from your graveyard into the deck, which you can use to proc your Ticket and Salon. We have our 2 Generator Xyzes, Leviathan, Generator Boss of Shadows, and quick effect. You can tribute the Xyz summon card, special summon 1 non-fairy Generator Xyz monster from your extra deck, and if you do, attach cards from either player's field and or graveyard Shoot that monster, that equals the number of materials this card had on field. Jormungandr gains 1000 attack and defense, times the number of Xyz material it has. In quick effect, you can attach a material. Each player draws a card and then attaches the card they drew to that material. This can proc a boss stage during your turn in order to summon out another generator. It's amazing. Omega's here for the Gamma stuff, because you can summon it, and then when it's sent to the graveyard, it'll shuffle back a bunch of cards, so you can like use it to empty all the monsters out of your graveyard. It's also just generic synchros to make. Access code, then we have some more generics, Access code Torko, Ayusa, and Unicorn. With that, let's get into a test hand. And so for the test hand, I'm going to show off the one card combo with the Patetingasur. And so we're going to start off by special summoning Patetingasur from the hand, which will then proceed to summon out a Angeli. Angeli effect will then tribute itself in order to summon out the Hoot Cake. Hoot Cake effect will then banish the Angeli and will summon out a Messengelato. Messengelato will then add a ticket from deck to hand to activate the chickens. Overlay them for a Glass Souffle. Glass Souffle will then detach one, shuffle, and then shuffle back the Messengelato. Ticket will then activate, adding in Butlerusk, normal Butlerusk. Butlerusk will then generate a boss stage. Link these two off with the system, activate boss stage, end turn. And now when our opponent tries drawing a card, we will then summon out the Ha and 3 tokens. And that is the mainline combo. This is basically the main end board. Sometimes you'll have the Promenade set as well, but other than that, this is essentially just the main end board, a Omni Negate with a hand rip and just graveyard shenanigans. Alright, let's go to game 1, and this game 1 is looking a lot like a generator game. So, we're going to start off with our turn by activating boss stage, set the imp on the cold by, and end our turn. During our end phase, our opponent will try to hit us with a Stovey Torby by discarding their Torrential Tribute. I see this as an absolute -2, so I'm just going to Gamma this. And then it will be negated, and during our end phase it will be banished, and then we will get to boss stage because they drew the Compulse. And then we will get to summon our 4 tokens. Our opponent will activate Temple of the King, set a card, end their turn, and, and we drew the Patetingasur for turn. We will then summon out Patetingasur. Patetingasur will then summon out the Angeli. Angeli will then summon out the Hoot Cake. Hoot Cake will then banish the Angeli in order to summon out a Messengelato. Messengelato will then go grab us a Salon. We'll then switch the harder attack position, summon out Queen Tiramisu. They will then Compulse Queen Tiramisu. They will then activate Torby and will summon himself back. We will then enter battle phase. They will activate Torby, trying to get a trap out. We will then activate Cold by, banishing Torby so that they don't get anything. We'll then continue to try to attack them, but they will in fact stop us from attacking Fruitcake by using Lady Labyrinth. Anyway, since they've now drawn a card, we will now summon out the Vala and summon 2 more tokens, and they've drawn a Welcome Labyrinth for turn. Switch to attack over the Vala, and then they will end their turn. Then during their end phase, they'll activate Welcome Labyrinth and Lady Labyrinth. Unfortunately, we have the Impump for the Lady, and the Welcome Labyrinth will still resolve, summoning out the Ariana. But unfortunately, Ha will be ripping that card. We'll be ripping a card, because they added a card, so that we can send their Ariana to grave, and then we'll summon out the Vala. Vala will then summon out Hugana, make the 3 material Leviathan, activate Hoot Cake, summon out the Messengelato. Messengelato will then add a ticket, then we will normal summon Mageline. Mageline will add Angeli, summon out the Glass Souffle, shuffle some cards back into the deck in order to trigger both ticket and so on. I'm pretty sure at this point I was just BMing. We'll set a Promenade, summon out the Mageline, overlay for a Queen Tiramisu, overlay for a Chocolat mode, absorb a couple of their cards, and then we will just enter battle and we will swing in for a very much overlethal. Oh yeah, we're also going to BM them by just activating the fucking generator. Alright. For that, let's get on to game 2. Alright, in game 2 we'll be going second against Dark Magician, and oh, is that an evenly matched IC? Alright, so our opponent will start off with a Illusion of Chaos, sending itself back into the deck in order to add a Magician's Rod. Magician's Rod will then go out a Secrets of Dark Magic, and then Secrets of Dark Magic will summon out the Dark Magicians, activate the fucking Lad, and then activate Dark Magicians, drawing Mirror Force. Soul Servant will then stack the Magician Circle, and then draw the Magician Circle, add the Eternal Soul, set 2, and pass turn. Anyway, evenly matched. They will then Dark Magicians, draw into a Souls, and this should be all she wrote. We'll summon out Patetingasur. Patetingasur will summon out the Angeli. Angeli will tribute herself, summon out the Hoot Cake. Hoot Cake will banish the Angeli, and will summon out Messengelato. Messengelato effect will then add to deck the ticket. We'll then normal summon Mangeli. Mangeli will then add a Angeli for next year, I guess. We'll then activate Queen Tiramisu in order to shuffle back their Dark Magician, and then we will get to Ticket, add another card from deck to hand, set a card face down, activate Boss Stage, and end our turn. Boss Stage will summon out the Har and 3 more tokens. And from here, our opponent will start off with a Illusion of Chaos. We will be negating that. And then they will try to Magician Souls. They will then summon back out the Dark Magician, walk straight over our Queen Tiramisu, and then they will end their turn. We will go Standby main, and then we will normal summon the Madolche. Madolche will add from deck to hand another Madolche. I don't know what the fuck I was on. We'll then just swing in for a bit of damage, and then we will end our turn. Our opponent will draw yet again. We will then activate the Boss Stage, and realizing that they are being absolutely out of advantage, and the fact that they drew fucking IF Tamiya's turn, they will concede. So it's time for the third match, and we're up against Kashtira. Granted, it's a wee bit of a goofy Kashtira build. They're still on like Psybeast and whereas 7 Swords, but you know, it's still Kashtira. It can still do something. And hey, look, we drew all 3 hand traps. That should be that should be good, hopefully. Anyway, they'll start off with a Prime Player Wraith for adding a Unicorn effect. We will then Gamma Gamma Unicorn, but they have the Ash in order to prevent it. They will then add the Furiosus. They will then try to activate the other Unicorn effect, allowing you to destroy their Flad. They will then go to buff in order to summon back the Unicorn, so it didn't really matter. And then they will summon out the Papiosis, and then Papiosis will then summon out Fenrir, and then Fenrir will add the Twink, and then the Twink will summon itself out, and that is a Nibiru range. And from there, they're just going to have to end their turn, and we draw another Impalm for turn. I will then activate the Madolche. Madolche will add Protecting Us, and oh no, those cards are in my graveyard. Anyway, we'll then use summon back the Fenrir, we'll then walk into our own token, banishing their buff face down so that we don't have any follow-up. We'll then link into our Unicorn, shuffling back the token, set 2 Impalms face down, and end our turn. They'll set Psybeast and pass turn. This is why we really need better starters. We'll then activate a Philosophy for turn, banishing 6, and we will reveal some pretty good ones. Angeli is really good, actually. Then tribute off the Angeli, and we'll summon out the Protecting Us will then summon out the Hoot Cake. Hoot Cake will then banish a Driver from graveyard, in order to summon out Messenger Larder. We'll then add a Salon. We will then activate the Salon in order to go. Then we will summon out the Queen Tiramisu, shuffling their 2 cards face up on field, and with that they will concede. So overall, the deck is really nice. I really like this deck. It is so much fun. It is really cool. I don't think there's really anything else to say. The deck's main synergy is like, the Madolche's main problem is that they don't really have anything too streamlined. Their best piece of like in-archetype interaction is like the Promenade, and that's like 1 single negate. And their other best one is Glass Souffle, which is a very targeted form of interruption, being like Graveyard Disruption. The generators really help you out here with giving you like a generic Omni negate that can also rip a card from them. It makes it so much better. Also, it gives the generators something else to like fall back on. Like, you have a really good infinite resource loop, and since you can just shuffle back your generators as well, you never really run out of them in deck. The deck is so fucking cool. I love it so much, and I hope you liked it too. Anyway, make sure to dislike the video, and I'll see you all next week.